Brought to you by Geico, the #1 insurer in the New York market. By Spectrum. Hey, Mets fans, join America's fastest growing TV, internet, and voice provider. Get the Spectrum Triple Play today. And by Tito's Handmade Vodka, America's original craft vodka. Visit us at titosvodka.com. Be at Citi Field Saturday, September 9th, when the Mets take on the Reds at 7:10 p.m. The first 15,000 fans in attendance will receive a Mets fleece blanket, courtesy of the Northwest Company. For tickets, visit Mets.com/tickets. Time for the Eliminated Baseball break, brought to you by T-Mobile. Well, the Mets saw Rhys Hoskins go 0 for 12 to start his big league career. It's all been coming up roses for the Phillies rookie since then. No rookie had reached 10 home runs in their first 20 games. Hoskins did it in his first 17 games. It's taken him only 57 at-bats to get to 10 home runs. Quite an accomplishment for the Phillies youngster. However, the Phillies only lost by 15 runs yesterday to the Cubs, despite Hoskins' heroics. Mets and Nats, game 3 of 4, start of a day-night doubleheader. First pitch coming right up. This season for the Mets in the nation's capital. Last day to enjoy the history and the majesty that are Washington, D.C. And the dramatic music, too. Goes perfectly.
Majestic.
First pitch of the day from Eric Fetty to Brandon Nimmo is taken low, and we're underway.
Well, there's Eric Fetty. He is all of 6'4", 195 pounds, the #1 draft pick in 2014. His third start of the season. Sinker slider. See, he's been roughed up his first 2 starts. 18 hits, 9 1/3 with 3 home runs.
Nimmo 1 for 7 in this series, but he's been getting on base with regularity. .384 on base percentage through his first 60 at bats in the big leagues this year.
He keeps doing the job, Brandon. He brings energy. He hustles. I like.
1-2 from Fetty, and he comes up and in at 92 miles an hour. 2-2. Fetty's third big league start. 29 games, 13 starts in the minor leagues. They put him in the bullpen for a while to slow down his innings rate. So he's only thrown 99 in the third innings total this year. And it's hit sharply toward the middle, knocked down by Kendrick, but he can't make the play, and Nimmo's aboard to start the day. With Daniel Murphy not playing today, Howie Kendrick getting the start at second and couldn't handle this sharp ground ball.
No, that's his position at second base. Ball came up a little bit. Tough chance on the backhand. And with Nimmo's wheels and his always hustle to first base, you can forget it.
Infield hit for Nimmo to start the afternoon. Here's your Mets Geico starting lineup. Matt Reynolds gets a start in left field today after Travis Tyrone got his major league debut yesterday. As the Mets piece together their outfield, and it means Nimmo and Lagares are playing every day. Juan is 3 for 10 in this series. Nimmo stole his first base of the season in the opening game on Friday night. And Lagares trying to drop down a bunt, bunting for a hit, but he fouls off the slider.
Coors Light's Nationals defense, Rafael Bautista, just called back up. Hamstring issues all year for him. His second start of the season, both in right field. Zimmerman back in the lineup at first base. Had a little bit of a shoulder issue, a bicep issue, excuse me, on a slide in the last road game of theirs, that big late game in Houston. But he's back in. He's comeback player of the year in my book, Gary.
Well, the Nats had a comeback player of the year last year in Anthony Rendon. Might have another this year in Zimmerman. Certainly has vastly outperformed last year. Finally healthy. Fetty working very slowly early in this game with Nimmo at first, and hits Lagares in the back. Well, remember yesterday, late in the game, Adrian Sanchez got drilled in the chest by Jeurys Familia. Sanchez, by the way, spent the night in the hospital. They had a CAT scan to make sure he was okay. He's fine.
Yeah, just precautionary.
And here, small of the back, Lagares gets struck, and so the Mets have the first two men on.
Well, that hit him pretty solid.
This was scary for a while. He stayed down, but then he got up and got a base hit.
Got him in the sternum.
He went to first, and then they took him out of the game a couple of pitches later, and for precautionary reasons took him to the hospital overnight. Here's Cabrera with 2 on and nobody out, and he takes the curveball outside. Has dribbled 3 for 8 in this series. 9 home runs for the year, but he hasn't hit one in 136 at bats, the second longest home run drought of his major league career. So the Mets with a first inning opportunity. And another curveball from Fetty misses, and Weeder's going to run that ball back out to the mound.
Looks like September baseball, and we're still 4 days away, 5 days away from September, a little early.
Fetty's last minor league start came 6 days ago. He went 6 innings against Lehigh Valley through 92 pitches. Now called back up for his 3rd big league start with a doubleheader. He is technically the 26th man for the Nats for the doubleheader, so he'll go right back to the minors after today. The Mets' 26th man is Kevin McGowan, whom they sent down yesterday, but were able to bring back today.
Cabrera flies one deep to right field, back toward the wall. It's out of here. Cabrera breaks that home run drought with a 3-run bomb, and the Mets go in front, 3 batters into the game. It's 3-0 New York.
Cabrera hadn't hit a home run since July 16th against the Rockies at Citi Field. 136 at bats without one, and now he's got his 10th of the year, and the Mets have an instant lead.
Very smart hitting by Cabrera, taking advantage of the youth of Eric Fetty. Hit by pitch, a base hit, behind the count on both hitters. Not getting his breaking ball over. First ball, fastball hitting.
So the Mets off to a fast start. Now Wilmer Flores, who had a big day yesterday. Wilmer was 4 for 4 in yesterday's game with a double and a home run. His second 4-hit game of the season. And he fouls back the fastball from Fetty, and it's 1-2. So Fetty greeted rudely in his return to the big leagues. Infield hit by pitch, 3-run homer. And now Flores carves one foul, 1-2. Eric Fetty, 24 years old, native of Las Vegas, played high school ball with Bryce Harper. In fact, Harper was his catcher. Harper was a catcher throughout his high school and college career.
We talked earlier about that, Gary, and why with someone as athletic as Harper would you put him behind the plate?
Well, he threw a lot of people out, kind of shut down the running game.
Fastest way to the big leagues.
Fastest way to lose your legs too, which is why the Nationals put him in the outfield after they drafted him.
I was just talking with Tim McCarver when we were in St. Louis and they were in town.
That's it sharply, but right at Defoe. He handles the hop, and that's the first out of the day.
And McCarver has had, I believe, both knees replaced, is what he said. I'm not sure. He said that doggone squatting in all those years.
He'll do it to him.
And you wouldn't give it up for a minute, though.
Well, it makes you wonder about, say, a player like JT Realmuto, who has such good wheels for a catcher. Do you move him out from behind the plate to retain that speed, or do you leave him back there because he's got pretty good catching skill?
I think you need, if you've got someone that can replace him, yes.
I mean, the Astros did that with Craig Biggio.
Absolutely.
Right? Started out as a catcher, but he was such a good athlete that they moved him out from behind the plate. Dominic Smith didn't start yesterday against the left-hander. 1 for 3 in this series. And he takes the curveball out of the strike zone, 2-0.
2 curveballs, 2 misses. He's not getting his curve over. He's got to come to Papa here.
And he comes with the fastball, and it's in for a strike. Fetty combined AA, AAA this year, 4 and 5, 3.69 ERA. So he had good but not great numbers in the minors. And it's fouled off by Smith, 2-2. The plan originally was for Max Scherzer to make his return from the DL today and have Tanner Roark pitch the other game, but they felt that Scherzer needed an extra day, so he'll go tomorrow against Miami, and Roark will pitch the nightcap tonight, and that's why they brought up Fetty to make the start today. Inside to Smith, and it's 3-2 to Dom with Travis d'Arnaud on deck. Here are your city probables for the night game tonight. Seth Lugo off the disabled list to pitch for New York, and Roark for the Nats. Smith hits one at the second baseman Kendrick. He knocks this one down and makes the play for the second out. Another sharply hit ground ball.
We see a lot in middle infielders today playing out in that shallow outfield grass, and I want nothing to do with that lip. With a cut in the grass, you can get that ground ball off that lip, and it'll sure as I'm here talking to you, that's going to bounce up on you.
Now, probably that lip is a little flatter than when you play.
Yes, they're like putting greens.
Travis d'Arnaud lines one down the line. That's foul. Travis just got ahead of it and yanked it foul.
Well, oh, that ball came up on that guy, almost got him in the chin. Oh my goodness.
He's correct.
That's Sebastian Cabot.
He did not. That's outstanding.
What was the character Sebastian Cabot played in Family Affair?
Mr. French.
Mr. French, of course.
With Buffy, Sissy, and Jody?
Yes. Brian Keith was the father.
Fetty's already thrown 27 pitches in this opening inning. He's ahead 0-2 on d'Arnaud, and Travis flies one out to pretty deep right center, but Batista has room and makes the catch to end the inning. But the Mets get off to a fast start thanks to Asdrubal Cabrera. First home run in a month and a half, and Asdrubal strokes 1 for 3. 10th home run of the year for Cabrera, and the Mets hand Tommy Malone a 3-0 lead. Day off, or at least first game off for Daniel Murphy. But Ryan Zimmerman is back in there, first time in this series after suffering a triceps injury. Rafael Bautista just back from the minor leagues, playing in the outfield with former Met Alejandro De Aza.
The Land Rover numbers for Mr. Malone are not pretty. A lot of hits. Not an overpowering left-hander.
Howie Kendrick leading off for the Nationals. Kendrick played left field yesterday, playing second base today. His 19th start since coming over from the Phillies. And Malone gets a fastball over 1-1. Kendrick having a terrific offensive year, hitting .335, but he spent a lot of time on the disabled list while with the Phils. And here's the odd thing about Kendrick's season. And it's hit sharply up the middle and off the glove of a diving Cabrera and into center field. Charged by Lagares. Kendrick thought about trying for two. Lagares overruns it, but Kendrick had already slammed on the brakes, and he'll stop at first base with a leadoff single.
Well, ditto to the top of the first, off the glove of another second baseman. Nice effort by Cabrera.
I was going to say about Kendrick, he spent most of the season with the Phillies playing in that bandbox, and he had 2 home runs. He's already hit 5 for the Nationals.
Yes, he has.
Doesn't make a lot of sense.
80 at bats, now 81 at bats for the Nationals in 25 games. Came into the night hitting .325 for the Nats, so he's been a nice addition to this club.
Here's Wilmer Defoe, who's looked very impressive in this series with the bat and with the glove. 4 for 9 with a double, and he lays one down, and Malone makes a low throw, and Dom Smith saves him by picking it out of the dirt. So Defoe trying for a base hit, but he'll get credit for a sacrifice and almost a ball thrown away.
What's your feeling on this ruling, Gary? If you try to drag bunt, should it be a sack?
I think that it should not.
I agree.
However, the way the rule is written, they say to give the hitter the benefit of the doubt, and so the scorer always does. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not in our day.
That's the it's the trap door.
Yep.
Because it says give the hitter the benefit of the doubt, then if they don't, then the hitters protest.
And everybody's kinder and gentler today. Maybe.
Or just afraid of being overruled by the committee. You know, the committee they have now to review scoring decisions.
Right. I remember Howie Carpin, our wonderful scorekeeper in New York, bragging about how he had only, what did he say, 12 questionable calls questioned last year.
Really? Was he really bragging about that?
He was very proud of it.
I didn't know that. See, even official scorers have egos, Keith. It's like ball players.
No, we'll talk to Howie how he plays first base in a softball league. Holy cow.
Anthony Rendon hitting .342 against left-handed pitching this year, with Kendrick at second and 1 out. And Malone gets the curveball over for a strike. That's what he's done against the Mets. Of course, most of that production came in one game. He had 3 home runs and 10 RBIs in that 23-5 rout earlier this year.
Kind of broke him out of his slump. I remember Davey Johnson when he was managing this ball club, and he pulled me aside and said, "Watch this kid."
Of course, that 3 home run day, the last one he hit against Kevin Plawecki. 2-1 to Rendon.
I was kind of hoping to see Tanner Roark pitch today, Gare. He's got the second game. He's kind of bounced back from that struggling start he had.
Well, I'm sure you'll tape the game and watch it tonight.
If I get home in time.
You'll be able to see.
I won't get home in time to tape it, DVR it.
Oh?
I haven't got a wife like you to DVR it for you.
I said it before I left home, Keith.
I didn't.
It's back by Rendon 2-2. You think my wife knows how to work the DVR?
Sure I do.
Are you kidding?
Glenn, send me a text or Facebook.
I can barely figure it out.
Rendon came up in 2013. 5th season in the big leagues, and he is a quality player.
And having his best year this year. And the changeup misses, and it's 3-2. Ryan Zimmerman waiting on deck. Malone staked to a 3-run lead. Nats still without all of their best players. Murphy sitting this one out. Harper still on the DL. But it is a formidable lineup when healthy. On the outside corner, got him looking at the fastball. Looked like he was looking for the changeup and got the heater, and Malone got the corner for the second out.
We'll take a peek here. Agreed. Nice framing by Darno. I think it's a good pitch anyway. Look at the butt flying out on Rendon, so he was trying to sneak a walk there. He must have been looking for something in.
So 2 out. Kendrick still at second, and here's Zimmerman, his first appearance in the series after tweaking his triceps on a headfirst slide on Thursday night in Houston. Zimmerman at age 32 having a tremendous bounce back year. Last year hit .218 with 15 home runs. This year hitting .300 with 29 home runs. And still 5 weeks of the season to play. And he takes a changeup for a strike. Zimmerman's got 4 home runs against the Mets this year. 13 of his 86 RBIs have come against New York. And Malone comes to the inside corner with the changeup, and it's 0-2.
That's what he needs to do. He cannot live on that outside corner. He's got to pop him inside.
So Malone with a chance to escape the first inning, something he's had trouble doing this year. He's given up a total of 8 first inning runs in his last 2 starts. Of course, that's a team-wide problem. Change up in the dirt, 1-2. Yesterday, the Nats scored 4 in the first off Robert Gsellman. It was the 18th time this year the Mets have given up 3 or more in the first inning, which ties a dubious team record that the Mets set back in 1963, their second season in existence.
Yeah, you don't want to be anywhere near those early Met years.
1-2. Fastball away. 2-2 to Zimmerman.
Lexus Mets defense out in left field. First start for Matt Reynolds in left field. Ironically, he has, interestingly enough, 1 start in right this year. Terry Collins mentioned that Reyes is going to start getting some fly balls in the outfield, Garrett, and you're considering putting him out in the outfield.
Zimmerman lines one to left center, and Reynolds is over to make the catch, and that retires the side. So Malone does put up a 0 in the first. He's got a 3-0 lead after 1. for the second inning after the Mets put up a 3-spot against him in the first on Asdrubal Cabrera's 3-run homer. Ahmed Rosario leads off the second and takes a changeup for a strike. Rosario trying to snap out of an 0 for 12 skid. And takes a fastball strike 0-2. Rosario 89 at bats deep into his big league career. Matt Reynolds on deck, then Tommy Milone. And slider in the dirt, 1-2. So we're doing the game here. Ronnie's doing the game in the Bronx today.
Yeah.
And you know how they say that you always see something you've never seen before? In the air down the right field line, chased by Bautista, but that'll go out of play. So Ronnie got to see the Seattle Mariners make 5 errors in the first inning. Now Elias has been tracking that data since 1984. They say there's no team that has made 5 errors in an inning since they started tracking it until the Mariners did it today.
How many runs did it cost them?
Well, the Yankees scored 6 in the first. I don't know. I assume they were all unearned. Rosario hits one out to right center. Taylor and Bautista come together, and it's Taylor making the catch, 1 away. I only have one regret. My regret is that you weren't there to see it and comment on it. Because can you imagine what your reaction would have been watching a 5-error inning?
Well, it depends on how the errors were made. You know, if there were 5 bad hops, what are the odds of that?
Nah, not these days. There are no bad hops.
My comment would have been, you know, were they out till like 5 in the morning? I mean, it's easy to do in New York.
That can happen to a team.
It's very easy to do in New York.
City, yeah.
Trust me.
One to Reynolds.
It's one of those times when you, I shouldn't say this with the children out there, but I will. Chicago, Wrigley Field.
Reynolds punches one the other way, and that'll land for a base hit. So Matt Reynolds now 3 for 5 in this series.
I had a handful of times in Chicago, less than a handful that I went out till 4 in the morning, 4:30.
And did you make 5 errors in an inning the next day?
No, but I was very diligent the next inning. You just come home and but there's no sense going to bed. You just stay up. And you push through it. You don't hurt your teammates. And you don't go out the next night. You go to bed early.
My sense is that in the modern era of baseball, that players don't generally stay out as late as they once did.
I don't really care one way or the other. It'd be awful boring, that hotel room. I know it's tough today to go out, and there's not enough vanishing cream to go around for the 30 teams and then Major League Baseball. Everybody's got a camera and a phone.
Safer to stay in and play video games.
Ugh, boring.
Malone is 1 for 8 at the plate this year, looking for his first sacrifice. And he gets it out in front of the plate. Wieters will have to go to first with it. So successful sacrifice goes 2 to 4, moving Reynolds to second. 2 out.
Is that a 2-4 in the scorecard?
2-4.
Okay.
Not to be confused with a 2x4. So a runner in scoring position for Brandon Nimmo, who had an infield hit and scored a run in the first inning. Nimmo making his 12th start of the season for the Mets, and might well become a fixture in that leadoff spot the rest of the year. A different kind of leadoff hitter than the Mets have had for most of the year, with Conforto and Granderson, guys who were bigger threats to hit the ball to the ballpark in that top spot. But Nimmo in his short career has proven to be a high on base percentage guy, and the Mets are hoping to see more of that.
A lot of pitches this young man's throwing so early.
Fetty gets the fastball in for a strike, and it's 1-2. One-two to Nimmo. And that's away. 2-2. So I'm trying to figure out why they played a snippet of "Come Together" between pitches.
They do. I missed it.
Didn't understand that.
It's a nice song. I love it.
Somebody wearing a flat top. On the outside corner, got him looking. And Fetty has his first strikeout of the day. Middle of the second in D.C. 3-0 Mets. Tommy Milone back to the mound for the bottom of the second with a 3-0 lead. Matt Wieters will lead off for the Nationals. Wieters 0 for 5 in this series, having a really rough offensive season, hitting just .230, 9 home runs, .289 on base percentage.
Boy, his performance just kind of tanked.
Four-time All-Star who sat out on the free agent market almost the entire winter. Nobody signed him until the Nationals got him late. He's played a lot. He's been very durable. He just hasn't produced a lot.
Well, catcher is a position that you want production from.
Wieters now 31 years old. First round pick by Baltimore back in '07. And he's had some really fine offensive seasons. This just isn't one of them. Michael Taylor on deck, then Alejandro De Aza in the second. It's fouled away. Facing Tommy Milone, who was originally drafted by the Washington Nationals, 10th round pick in 2008. He made 5 starts for the Nats in 2011, and that winter they traded him to Oakland in the deal that brought Washington Gio Gonzalez. On the outside corner, he gets Wieters looking. Second call, third strike. Then Malone's gotten on the outside corner from Andy Fletcher.
Well, he's a couple called third strikes. It's a doubleheader, in the words of Frank Pulley. Look at this, folks. Okay, just missed. As in the words of Frank Pulley, we clap his hands and Frank would go. That one was a strike. Frank would go, guys, we got 2 today. I'm not paid for overtime. Swing the bats.
Now, of course, things are different for home plate umpires now than they were in your day, because when you have a doubleheader, the guys who ump the plate in each game don't work in the other game. So once Andy Fletcher's day game is over, his day is over.
So he may have a plane to catch like you and I. So we like him.
It's an interesting concept. Michael Taylor 3 for 8 in this series, and he takes a whack at the changeup, and it's 1-1.
You go, ump. You go. As long as he tells everybody, you know, hey guys, I'm going to be calling it. The close pitches are going to the pitchers today. Swing the bats. Then that's fair. Just don't call it 4, 5, 6 inches outside or inside.
So don't.
So in other words,
don't have an Eric Gregg strike zone.
Oh, jeez. I mean, Tom Glavine should have sent a limo for him.
How about Livan Hernandez?
Jeez.
Two-one coming.
Good.
Comes inside that time with a changeup and gets a swing and miss.
Eric Gregg. There's the hard little cutter down and in. Good spot. Eric Gregg was my first year in professional baseball in Florida State League at St. Pete. Eric Gregg was his first year as an organized baseball as an umpire. So I know Eric going back to when I was 18 years old.
1997. Marlins played the Braves in the league championship series. And that last game, Livan Hernandez struck out 15 Braves to get the Marlins to the World Series. And Eric Gregg was responsible for half of them. Taylor thrown out by Cabrera for the second. Right before Major League Baseball took a little better charge of the strike zone. And the whole notion of umpires having their own strike zone, which, you know, everybody freely acknowledged, that kind of went by the wayside.
I think it was more so in the American League. I think the bad umpiring I heard from Rusty, guys that played in both leagues, was at the American League umps, because they had the chest protector that they had to hold.
Chest protector.
And they could not, they were always high ball umpires because they had to be more upright. They couldn't squat because the National League umpires had the gear like a catcher.
The inside chest protector.
Right. And they could, and they could get down low and see the low strike. But Rusty said that when he went over to the American League, Gary went to Detroit, he said the reason why he moved on top of the plate the rest of his career was because they were calling the pitches 6 inches outside and sometimes more, some umpires, a strike. He said I had to move on top of the plate.
Alone behind on Alejandro De Aza, 3-0. Strike.
When I played, the umpiring in the National League was really outstanding. The great majority of the umpires were absolutely fantastic umps. And I'm not saying I have nothing. I get nothing out of this.
De Aza lines one into center field, a base hit. That's going to go all the way back to the wall. Lagares has trouble tracking it down. De Aza takes the turn. He's going to try for 3, and he'll make it without a throw. Just the second hit of the season for the former Met De Aza, and it's a 2-out triple against a left-hander.
Well, that's only the second hit De Aza's had for the Nationals. Is coming into the game 1 for 18. And there's his first extra base hit for the Nats.
Well, De Aza getting a chance because of all the injuries to Nationals outfielders.
And that's his first hit in 8 tries off a left-hander with the Nats.
De Aza released by Oakland in spring training, signed with the Nats in June, just recently called up, and now making a dent against his old team. Here's the rookie Rafael Bautista, and he takes a strike. Bautista 1 for 8. Just called up today. Missed 3 months with a hamstring injury. Just recently came back to the Nats AAA team at Syracuse and called up today. A good changeup by Malone, and it's 1-1. 0-2, excuse me. Bautista had a very impressive spring training.
Well,
But he only played 37 games in AAA this year because of that bulky hamstring. Pitcher on deck, 0-2 from Malone. And he misses with a fastball, 1-2. One-two to Bautista, and he loops one in the air on the right side of the infield. Cabrera's there to grab it, and that retires the side. So Malone works around the 2-out triple by De Aza, keeps the lead, 3-0 Mets after 2. Players Weekend at MLBShop.com with limited edition New York Mets jerseys and tees featuring player pick nicknames. Wear the gear that the players are wearing on field this weekend. Available while supplies last at MLBShop.com. Juan Lagares leads off the third. Mets with a 3-0 lead on the strength of Asdrubal Cabrera's first inning home run. Lagares contributed to that by getting drilled in the back with a pitch by Eric Fetty, who gets the first pitch changeup in for a strike. 24-year-old Eric Fetty, third big league start. It did not begin well, but he's settled in a little better since that ambush in the first inning.
Well, he's retired 5 out of 6, but that 3-run bomb has hurt him.
It's sticking in his craw.
Oh. That Washington sign behind home plate. It's also on the hats of the Nationals and on the uniforms. That's been traditional going way back. That W, how it's
the curly W.
Yeah, that's traditional, correct? The old Senators had it that way.
Well, I mean, not back to Walter Johnson. He had a
okay.
He had a stick W, not a not a curly W.
That's right. I wonder when the curly W came in.
3-2 to Lagares, and he just got a piece of that. Asdrubal Cabrera on deck, and then Wilmer Flores for the Mets in the third. And Lagares pokes one to the right side. Kendrick in front of it. 1 out.
It's just amazing to me, Gary. We're up here a year in, year out, and we watch games, and very rarely do we see a bad hop on these infields.
Groundskeepers have learned so much, and teams that have invested in these new ballparks have invested in the equipment necessary to make sure that the fields are impeccable.
And the right dirt. Remember how the what was it, the guy in Kansas City,
right, George Toma,
found the proper dirt. I know that in the old days Dodger Stadium had a special kind of dirt that wasn't anywhere else, and I really loved Dodger Stadium. I loved that infield. That was an infield I had total confidence in.
Cabrera gets pushed back 2-0. Well, but the other thing is they cut the grass so short now, and I know that sometimes that frustrates you because the ball gets through the infield a lot faster than it used to, but that makes it easier to control bad hops too.
Well, I think there's an art. I think what it's done too, it's created a lot of laziness in the infielders. You know, you used to be taught to come in gathered, and you come into the ball, and you can, if it's a routine ground ball, you can play either the long hop or the short hop. You always want to stay away from the in-between hop. And with these infields the way they are now, you see so many infielders just laying back and waiting for the ball to come to there. They have complete, absolute confidence in the infields.
3-1 coming, and Cabrera takes ball 4, and the Mets have a 1-out base runner. First walk given up by Fetty. Well, the other thing is, and we've talked about this a lot over the last few years, that players, particularly third basemen, are taught to play the ball off to the side, whereas they used to be taught to get in front of the ball because they don't have to worry about bad hops.
Well, I still disagree with that. I think if you can get in front because the ball does come up, or it hits the, say it hits, you got guys with bad hands, or it hits the palm of your hand. What is that called in the glove? I should know that. I'm just like
the heel of the glove.
The heel. I should know that. What's going on? I get worried sometimes. What's going on in between my ears? But if it hits the heel of the glove, it's still going to come up. If you're in front of it, it's going to hit your chest. It's going to stay in front of you.
That's drilled to deep left field by Flores, headed back toward the wall. It's out of here. Wilmer Flores homers for the second straight day. A career high 17th home run of the season for Wilmer Flores, and the Mets have a 5-0 lead. And for Wilmer Flores, his 100th career home run.
Well, say what you want about Wilmer and his lack of speed, his in the field, his glove. He can hit. He is a plus on your ball club. Oh my God, that guy got clobbered.
By the way, that's an incorrect note. They just announced it's his 100th career home run. It's not. Well, as soon as I said it, I realized that that can't possibly be true. It is only his 56th career home run. Still a career high 17 for Flores.
And he's on his way to 20.
I don't know why they announced that in the press box. They must have confused him with somebody else. Anyway, that's a 5-0 lead, and Dominic Smith takes a strike, and it's 1-2.
There's a no-doubter. Line drive.
And Smith down on strikes for the second out. Second strikeout of the day for Fetty.
The horses are out of the barn, Gary. Two of the 5 runs are via a free pass, a hit by pitch, and a walk. They all wound up scoring.
Here's Travis d'Arnaud, and he flies one down the right field line. Bautista over near the side wall, but it's out of play. So the Mets, who have either lost to injury or traded away so much of their home run power, using home run power today from Cabrera and Flores to account for all 5 runs. Mets have now hit 191 home runs. That's still tops in the National League. Amazing if they keep the lead all season, even with no Cespedes and Conforto and Granderson and Bruce. It's so many of those home runs. Duda. 1-2 to d'Arnaud. Travis flied out to right his first time up. And the breaking ball hit out to right center field, playable for Bautista. And that retires the side, but the Mets add to their lead on Wilmer Flores' 17th home run of the year. New career high for Flores and a 5-0 Met lead. Question: when the Montreal Expos, who became the Washington Nationals, had their expansion draft before the 1969 season, whom did they take with their first pick? Any idea?
No.
Eric Fetty looking for his first big league hit. He's 0 for 3 and he takes a strike. Do you know?
Could it be Mr. Orange?
Was he an expansion pick?
It might have been.
I'm thinking Coco LeBoy and John Bacabella.
Rusty went to Montreal from Houston.
He did. Why would the Astros leave him exposed in the expansion draft, though?
I don't think Rusty. Was it Grady Hatton was the manager?
Fetty strikes out looking for the first down. Malone has his third strikeout.
Was it Grady Hatton was managing the Colt 45s back then?
Well, it would have been the Astros.
The Astros, excuse me. I know there was one manager that Rusty did not particularly care for. And I'm not sure if it was Grady Hatton. I'll look it up.
Howie Kendrick had an infield hit his first time up, and he takes a strike. Well, what I do know is that when the Expos finally came into existence in 1969, they played their first ever game at Shea Stadium, and they won it 11-10 on opening day.
Right. Seaver got bombed.
Seaver had a rough day. Dan McGinn, a relief pitcher for the Expos, hit a home run. So did Coco LeBoy.
I played with Dan McGinn when in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and he was trying to get back to the big leagues. He was a piece of work.
That was the Mets' 8th opening day and their 8th opening day loss. That year, the Mets would win the World Series before they had ever won an opening day game. Now, since then, the Mets have dominated opening day. They've got the best opening day record of any team in baseball.
Yes.
Does any of that make any sense?
Nope. I know we always won in the 80s opening day. The dock out there.
So far so good for Tommy Malone in his 5th start for the Mets. The biggest problem that Malone has had is he has just been bombarded by the home run ball. Now he's got himself a 5-run lead to work with. And Kendrick with a late swing foul.
So I got it, Gary. Harry Kraft was the first manager of the Colt 45, 62 to 64. Then Lumen Harris, all these old baseball names for 2 years. Grady Hatton, 66 to 68. And Harry the Hat Walker for 4 years, 68 to 72.
So you're saying because the manager didn't like Rusty, they left him exposed in the expansion draft?
If you get on the bad side of somebody, let's see how they. I'll look up Big Orange and we'll see how he got wound up over in.
Well, you don't want to blow the trivia question for somebody who might be thinking about it.
I will keep it to myself.
Oh, okay.
I'll just show it to you.
Two coming, and Kendrick takes strike 3 called. So Malone has his 4th strikeout, and all 4 have come on called 3rd strikes.
Fastball away. I think you're going to be right.
So let's answer the Verizon trivia question. The answer is not Rusty Staub. It is
Manny Mota.
Who even remembers Manny Mota as an Expo?
Oh my word.
So Rusty got from Houston
traded
to Montreal in a trade for Jesus Alou and Don Clendenon, and then Clendenon refused to report, which is how he ended up with the Mets later that year.
That's right. January 22nd, 1969, Rusty was traded. So Clendenon was one of the first guys that pulled a Kurt Flood.
So when Clendenon refused to report, the Expos sent Jack Billingham to the Astros instead. Jack Billingham would later become a fixture with those great Reds teams in the 70s. Swing and a foul tip, and it's 1-2 to Defoe, who sacrificed his first time up.
Then Rusty, but later would be traded in 72 April early by the Expos to the Mets with a nice trade for the Mets for Tim Foley, Mike Jorgensen, and Ken Singleton. So enough of that.
People forget that Singleton was a Met.
Singleton was a heck of a player.
He was a great player, and he became a, he really starred when he got to Baltimore.
Switch hitter.
And he was a New York kid too, playing for the Mets.
Those are 3 young players. Foley, who had a very nice career at shortstop, journeyman shortstop, very temperamental. I remember that. He's always a hothead, bad temper. Jorgensen never really lived up to his potential.
Another New York kid. He's from Queens. As Malone strikes out Defoe to end the inning, and he strikes out the side in the 3rd. 5 strikeouts for Malone through the first 3 innings. His best start of the year so far. Mets have a 5-0 lead as we go to the 4th. Mets fans win amazing prizes from Delta Airlines. Visit sny.tv/Delta Dugout for details. Rosario leads off in the 4th inning. Fly to center his first time up. And he takes a slider off the plate from Eric Fetty, who's given up 2 home runs today. A 3-run homer to Cabrera in the first, a 2-run shot to Flores in the third. Now facing the lower third of the order in the 4th, Rosario, Reynolds, and Malone. And Ahmed hits a slow ground ball. Kendrick in front of it. 1 away. So Rosario continues to struggle. 0 for his last 14.
Nice breeze today at the ballpark. Really a glorious day. No humidity. I'm sure you got the same weather up north in New York. For Washington, D.C. in August to be like this is a gift.
Well, the weather may be decent here, but it is absolutely horrible in South Texas. And we send all our best to everybody affected by the devastating rains that have hit Houston and the area around it. And you know, the Mets are supposed to be in Houston next weekend. The forecast is for a lot more rain over the next few days. The Rangers and the Astros are supposed to play in Houston starting on Tuesday night. There's every chance that series will be moved to Dallas. And I don't know what's going to happen with the Mets series there next weekend in Houston. 0-2 to Reynolds. That's in for a call, strike 3. Third strikeout for Fetty. 2 out.
I have a strange feeling, Gary, that we are not. We're both not going to Cincinnati. We are not going to fly to Houston on Thursday. That's my feeling.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, some people have said, well, why don't they just move the series to New York? The problem is, if you remember the history, the last time the Astros had to have a series moved because of bad weather, I think it was during Katrina, they had a series moved to Milwaukee against the Cubs, and they were inundated with Cub fans. And in fact, Carlos Zambrano threw a no-hitter against them in Milwaukee. I don't think they're going to agree to go anywhere near New York. And the other piece of that is that the Astros, after they play the Mets next weekend, have to be in Seattle for a Monday afternoon Labor Day game. So they're going to want to be west.
Why would they want? It's a long flight. It's very deceptive, folks. When you fly to Houston, it's one of the longest flights. If you're, you know,
to go just one time zone.
Right, and it's almost 4 hours. It's over 3 hours. I know that. It's a long flight. So why would Houston, when it's a home game, want to travel that far for a makeup series? I agree with you.
Yeah. Well, also, since they have to be in Seattle afterward, it makes much more sense for them to play somewhere west as opposed to coming to New York. But that's up to Major League Baseball to figure out, and it's up to the weather, you know, what's going to happen over the next 4 or 5 days. Malone strikes out to end the inning. 4th strikeout for Fetty. He's got his first 1-2-3 inning of the day. Still 5-0 New York in the 4th. Nationals Park. The racing presidents.
The park is much prettier inside than it is outside.
Well, the outside is very much in keeping with a lot of the monuments in Washington, a lot of limestone.
I love the entrance view. The fans come in from the subway over the left field fence.
Down Half Street.
Yes, it's very nice. It's very welcoming. Always a big gathering.
Anthony Rendon leads off in the home fourth against Tommy Milone, who is having his best start of the season so far. Interestingly, we mentioned Milone was drafted by the Nats and made his major league debut for them in 2011. He only had one start against Washington before today, and that was when he was with Oakland back in 2014, and he threw 8 scoreless innings against the Nats that day. Well, he's tacked on 3 more scoreless innings today, so he's never allowed a run against the team that drafted him and brought him to the big league. Rendon taking all the way 2-1. I have a further statistical update on that Mariners 5-error first inning today. We had said that the records were incomplete. Elias says that wasn't them. They have the answer. Other statistical purveyors did not have the answer, but Elias knew that the 1977 Cubs were the last team to commit 5 errors in 1 inning. That's 40 years ago. And the fields were not nearly as good then. Just off the corner, 3-2 to Rendon. Malone's been picking off that outside edge all day.
That would have been the days of Angel De Jesus at shortstop, I believe. It would have been Steve Ontiverios at third. Maybe Manny Trio at second. Forget first base.
That's right back to Milone, who catches it in self-protection. A bullet off the bat of Rendon, and Milone fortunate that ball hit his glove.
Total reaction here. Quick hands. Oh boy,
that ball caught him more than he caught him.
And that ball would have clocked him if he didn't get his glove up. He was in the way of this ball.
It was going right in his chest, or maybe his shoulder.
Well,
wow. So one difficult out and nobody on. Ryan Zimmerman coming up, and we'll check in with Steve Gelb. Steve?
Guys, we've often wondered about how big of a bat Ryan Zimmerman uses, just because he stands so far off the plate yet still gets great plate coverage. And he does use a pretty decent sized bat, 34.5 inches long, which by comparison most guys in the league use about 33.5 to 34 inches maybe. Also uses a pretty heavy bat, although not as heavy as it used to be. Used to use a 33.5 ounce bat, changed it to 32.5 ounces this year because, quote, I just wanted to do something that wasn't last season after the year that I had.
That's interesting that a 34.5-inch bat, Steve, is considered long. That's what I use, and a lot of guys swung a 35 was the norm back in my day, and 33.5 ounces, that's a solid bat. 32.5 is what I used, is weight wise, and was considered a lighter bat of my generation. I don't know what the new wood with the maple, if it's, but I know if it's the same, but with the white ash, you never wanted to go over 2 ounces less than the length of your bat.
Rosario comes in to get the grounder and throws out Zimmerman 2 away. But what about the concept of coming off a bad year and wanting to make a change just to try and put that bad year behind you?
Well, I think, you know, you never want the bat to swing you. You swing and control the bat. So maybe Zimmerman is getting a little bit older. I bet you someone made the suggestion to him. And boy, look at the results. I mean, if he's swinging a 34.5-inch bat and it's 32.5 ounces, he's within the range, the proper range of still having good wood. And, you know, maybe it's made a big difference for him.
Wieters took a call, third strike his first time up. Curveball down, 2-0. Just getting started on a long day of baseball here tonight. Seth Lugo comes off the disabled list to pitch for the Mets. Popped up. No gives a look, but it's out of play. And Tanner Roark, who's been up and down this year, will go for the Nationals.
I was kind of hoping he'd throw in the morning, this afternoon game.
It's really interesting to me that when we talk about doubleheaders, you always call the first game the morning game.
Yes. Yes. Because I always called day games or morning games because I had to get up early. You know, baseball players just sleep. I don't know what these guys do. They're at the ballpark at noon. But
see, I thought it was because you grew up on the West Coast, and if the Giants were playing east for a doubleheader, the first game would be in the morning.
No.
Line into center field, a base hit for Wieters. Went down and got that curveball. That's just the third hit against Malone, a 2-out single.
Now the beauty of watching, NFL football, if you're an NFL fan, is that the morning game starts at 10 o'clock. And the afternoon game starts at 1, and you got the rest, over at 4, you got the rest of the afternoon. In Hawaii,
7 a.m.
It's even better.
7 a.m.
Be poolside, Bloody Mary, a couple eggs over easy.
Here's Michael Taylor, who grounded out his first time up, and he takes the change up inside.
I was in Hawaii when the Buffalo Bills played that game against the playoff game against the Houston Oilers. That was 31-3 at halftime, and Buffalo, and it was a blizzard. Buffalo came back and beat them, and I was watching that game at, I remember, 7 in the morning when it started. Poolside. That's living.
You have the life, my friend.
Well, that's a long time ago. That's living.
Malone behind on Taylor, 2-0. And now 3-0.
That was Jim Kelly and Warren Moon, the quarterbacks. Those in that game.
Wasn't Frank Reich? Didn't he engineer the comeback for the Bills in that game?
I think it was. Okay. Second half was Frank Reich. That was a game for the ages right there.
There's a strike. Not Frank Lloyd Wright. Frank Reich.
Right.
He was the architect of that comeback.
Right.
Wieters at first with 2 out. 3-1 to Taylor. And that's inside ball 4. And for the first time today, the Nats have 2 men on. First walk given up by Malone. And now Alejandro De Aza, who drove a triple to right center field his first time up. Wieters at second, Taylor at first. The 33-year-old De Aza, who's now playing for his 7th big league team, including the Mets, for whom he had a terrible first half and a pretty good second half last year. Standing in against the left-hander. The Nationals waiting for their outfield to get healthier. Jason Worth is in the midst of a rehab assignment. He's been out forever with a broken toe, but he should be back in fairly short order. Bryce Harper, though, a little more iffy. They're hoping to have him back by the middle of September, but there's just no way to know for sure with that bone bruise in his knee. That's pulled down to first. Dominic Smith handles it, And that gets Malone through the bottom of the fourth. 4 scoreless innings for Malone, and not only that, but he saved himself. Line drive headed right back at him off Rendon's bat. 5-0 Mets. No problem. Watch every SNY Mets game wherever you are on any device all season long with live streaming presented by Verizon. Just download the NBC Sports app or visit SNY.TV, your home for live streaming coverage of every SNY Mets game. Road ahead presented by Buick. Mets are in Cincinnati Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then maybe in Houston over next weekend.
Ronnie, take it away.
Ronnie and Wayne Randazzo.
Yeah, Wayne's going to do the play-by-play
game. So we wish Wayne a lot of luck in his SNY regular season debut.
Do you have any plans with your lovely bride for the 3 days?
Pulled down first, and Zimmerman handles Nimmo's ground ball for the first out. I say I will be informed of that when I get home.
Okay.
I think we may be taking a trip to see some giraffes.
Oh, I get you. Okay. Cool. I am going to stay parked and get re-energized. Relax. Enjoy the weather.
Lagares pokes one up the middle behind the bag. Defoe gets to it but has no play, and Lagares has himself an infield hit.
Was he going to backhand the ball to the second baseman?
Wouldn't have had a chance to throw him out.
Keep this rolling. What's he trying to do here?
I think he just dropped it.
No, he had it to flip to the second base.
Well, but why?
Why? It's like even if there was someone there, you're not going to throw out Lagares.
Unless he was afraid he was going to try and stretch it into a double.
Ah, okay.
That would be the only reason.
There's no man. Not even Bullet Bob Hayes could do that.
How about Herb Washington? As Dribble Cabrera hit a 3-run homer in the first inning, and he pounds one foul. Herb Washington was a sprinter who had basically no baseball experience, whom Charlie Finley hired to be a designated pinch runner for the Oakland Athletics.
Yep.
That's all he did was pinch run and try and steal bases. Which basically, I mean, that's what Bob Hayes was, right? He was a sprinter. They turned into a football player.
But he turned into a pretty doggone good receiver. They thought he never would. They were always worried about his hands and getting hit. But boy, he really turned out to be a tremendous wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys. It's back in the days when they had Lance Rensel on the other side.
Yep. 1-1 to Cabrera, who walked in his second plate appearance. He scored 2 runs today. He's driven in 3. He'd gone 136 at bats without a home run before he connected in the first. And he gets this one in the air to left center. And Diaz is there. 2 out. We're a spectrum high-speed pitch. Ladies and gentlemen, Eric Fetty, your winner on the high-speed pitch, your trailer on the scoreboard.
You want me to read?
24-year-old Fetty making his 3rd big league start. Faces Wilmer Flores, who drilled a 2-run homer his last time up.
You want me to read some of the copy for you? Just give you a break from that today.
You can read whatever you want
Okay,
here.
I'll take over for a bit. Give you a break. You got to read those things day in, day out. It must drive you nuts.
Just trying to give it the best read possible.
You're great.
Help the sponsors along. They support us all year. We support them. Do you need a pronunciation guide there, Keith?
I got it already.
Okay. Flores' home run was his 17th of the year, new career high for Wilmer. He's homered each of the last 2 days.
SNY's NFL insider Ralph Vacchiano has the full recap of all the reactions from last night's Jets-Giants game preseason matchup, on SNY.TV, your online home for all things New York sports. It wasn't a good night for the Jets, was it?
Not for their starters. Runner goes and no throw, and Lagares has a stolen base, his 3rd in this series and his 5th of the year.
Well, the last time I looked up, the Jets were losing pretty badly. Did they come back?
I think they lost by a point, right?
Well, they did. They came back. I understand Bryce Petty looked very good.
Then he got hurt. Call strike to Flores. It's the Jets.
Well, what do you mean, the Jets and West Side Story?
No, I mean it's the Jets, as in the same old Jets. I say that as a devoted Jets fan for half a century. Grounded toward the middle of the diamond. Depot nicely to his left, and the running toss gets Flores to end the inning. A hit and 1 left. We're halfway through in game 1 of the doubleheader. Mets up 5-0. Milwaukee Brewer. Mets got him on waivers in May. He made 3 starts for the Mets in May. They didn't go particularly well. Then he hurt his knee, was out for 3 months. faced Arizona last Tuesday and got knocked out in the 5th inning. This is an entirely different story today against a makeshift Nationals lineup. He's got 4 scoreless innings under his belt. Rafael Bautista hits one off Malone's glove, scrambling after it, but he can't pick it up, and Bautista, who has excellent speed, is safe at first. Well, Malone handled the 100-mile-an-hour line drive back at him by Rendon in the 4th, but couldn't handle this one.
If he let it go, Cabrera had it covered, but it's purely reaction.
And that'll be an infield hit for Bautista. I think even if he picks it up on that second grab, he wasn't going to get Bautista, who runs very well. So a leadoff base runner. Now Eric Fetty's going to stay in and bat for himself, down 5-0. He's thrown 89 pitches through 5 innings. This is a little bit surprising, but maybe in deference to the doubleheader today.
Yeah, I agree.
And he pops up the bunt, and Smith lets it bounce, and it goes foul.
Oh boy. I can't put my arms around the orange hats here. Oh, thank goodness this is the last day of this nonsense.
Got to be back in blue hats and road grays when we get to Cincinnati. And Fetty pokes that bunt, deadens it very nicely. Smith makes the play, 3-4 on the sacrifice, and Fetty has his first major league sacrifice bunt.
Very nice bunt. Had a little backspin, a little English.
So runner at second with 1 out. Now Malone will start his 3rd time through the Nationals batting order. Howie Kendrick had a base hit his first time up, then took a call 3rd strike in the 3rd. 5 strikeouts for Malone today. That matches his season high. And that's lined the other way. A base hit for Kendrick, fielded quickly by Nimmo, so they'll hold Bautista at 3rd. And that ball trickles away from d'Arnaud, but not far enough for anybody to advance. So now the Nats have 1st and 3rd and 1 out. Kendrick's 2nd hit of the day.
Just went right with the pitch here. Well done. You're going to get the ball away if you're a right-hand hitter from Malone.
Well, the Mets are not going to leave anything to chance in this game. They're getting the bullpen up, even though Malone's got a 5-0 lead. He's only thrown 78 pitches. But Hansel Robles is on call.
Oh, it's El Panazo. Panaco. Whatever that means. That mean home runs?
Oh, Keith. Defoe is sacrificed and struck out 0 for 1. And Malone gets in on his hands. And it's 0-2.
But he's mixed the ball in and out very nicely today. And that's why he's still out here, throwing, not giving up a run.
Oh-2 coming, and Defoe takes the cutter inside. 1-2. One-two to Defoe. pulled into left field. That's a base hit, and that'll get the Nats on the board. Batista in to score the third hit of the inning. Defoe drives in the run. It's now 5-1 New York.
You got the two big guns coming up now in Rendon, and that's all that's going to happen for Malone here. No chance for a win.
Very quick hook by Terry Collins, but you can certainly understand it. Malone's given up 3 hits here in the 5th. He will not qualify for a win, and Hansel Robles is going to come in and face the two big right-hand bats of Rendon and Zimmerman. Best start by far for Malone as a Met, but he's out after 4 1/3. Call to the bullpen, brought to you by Verizon. On the pitch for New York.
Hasn't pitched in 5 days. Last time out was against Arizona with 3 scoreless. He's pitched much better since that debacle in Colorado. But he's a long guy. I think he's more suited, Hansel, for this spot in the rotation. Got a rubber arm, can give you innings, guy to come in the middle.
Comes in to face Anthony Rendon with 2 on and 1 out. So Malone goes 4 1/3, 82 pitches through, allowed 6 hits, just 1 run so far, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. And even though he won't get a win today, this was certainly a victory for the Mets and Malone after the appearances that had come before it. Rendon last time up at the line drive back at Malone that he caught in self-defense. Struck out his first time up, so he's 0 for 2. Rendon takes a fastball for a strike at 97 miles an hour.
Well, that's what gets Robles in trouble, is when he becomes a thrower and not a pitcher, and he has the ability to be a pitcher. He wants to rear back and throw it through a brick wall, and that's when he gets in trouble.
Rendon is 1 for 5 against Robles. Kendrick at second, Defoe at first, and Rendon fouls off the fastball, and it's 1-2. Ryan Zimmerman waiting on deck. 5 days since Robles' last appearance. Last time out against Arizona, he was tremendous. Went 3 scoreless innings, allowed just 1 hit.
Wilmer Flores hugging that third base line. You got a hard thrower out there. You got a hitter with 2 strikes on him. Get out in the hole a little bit. The hitter's up there protecting now, and you got a guy throwing bullets. A little less inclined to pull the ball.
You would think. 1-2 coming, and it's hit foul down the right side. Cold hard fast brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. Mets bullpen has been pitching very well lately, despite the 3 runs Jerry's Familia allowed yesterday in his return to action. The Mets still have the lowest bullpen ERA over the last 3 weeks. Familia was a little rusty yesterday, probably not available today. Certainly not this afternoon, maybe tonight. Robles ahead on Rendon, 1-2. And slider off the plate, 2-2. Robles has not been particularly adept this year at stranding inherited runners. He's inherited 25, stranded only 14. Generally has been working starts of innings, but not today. 2-2 to Rendon, and that's off the plate. Now it's 3-2. And you got Zimmerman standing on deck, and this game could change in a big hurry. Kendrick at second, Defoe at first. 3 hits in the inning for the Nationals. Now a 3-2 count to Rendon. Rendon generally a guy who puts the ball in play. Three-two coming, and it's fouled away.
Very slow in between pitches, Robles.
Eighth pitch of the at bat coming to Rendon.
In there, strike 3 call. Robles wins that battle. 2 out in the inning.
Right down the pipe, fastball. Rendon, I gotta believe, is looking for a slider, and he just gets locked up.
Yeah, not even a chance that was low. It was
no, it's right down
well above the knees.
Right down the middle. He was looking for a breaking ball. What are they talking about on the mound there? They must maybe change the signs.
So now Zimmerman comes up with 2 out and 2 on, and a chance for Robles to limit the damage in the inning. Zimmerman's never had a hit against Robles, 0 for 7. Today, Zimmerman in his return to the lineup is lined to left and grounded to short. Missed the first 2 games of the series with a triceps injury. So with the 0 for 2, his batting average has tilted just a tad below 300. 2 on and 2 out. And Zimmerman takes a wide strike. There's no question Andy Fletcher has had a fairly large strike zone today. And Robles trying to work that to his favor. Malone walked only 1 over 4 1/3. And Zimmerman goes after the slider, and it's 0-2. Ryan Zimmerman last year played 115 games, hit only 15 home runs. This year he's played the same number of games and hit 29 home runs.
He's having himself a heck of a year.
if you compare this year to last year, for hitters who had at least 400 bats last year, only 2 players have had bigger jumps in home runs. Yonder Alonso, who's gone from 7 to 24, and Giancarlo Stanton, who went from 27 to 49 and counting. By the way, Stanton's also hitting .295.
I'm telling you, with that new closed stance, he looks like a hitter now. Not swinging at bad pitches, not chasing.
And his team is red hot right now. 1-2 coming.
On the outside corner, and got him looking. Another wide strike called by Andy Fletcher. And Robles, with back-to-back strikeouts, gets the Mets through the 5th. Nats settle for just the 1 run. And the Mets lead at 5-1 after 5.
Park, Mets up on the Nationals 5-1. Dominic Smith leading off this inning for the Mets, and one of the things the coaches are trying to get Smith to work on right now is being more aggressive early in the count. Smith himself has said that he's been a little passive as he tries to learn the pitchers up here, try and see how their pitches move, how they're approaching him. But the coaching staff is trying to get into his head that it's too difficult to hit from behind at this level, so be ready. If they groove a fastball in there early, first pitch, you swing at it and try and drive it.
I have no issue with that. That sounds like good advice to me. You certainly don't want to hit. Ooh.
Lines a 2-0 pitch to the shortstop Defoe for the first out.
Defoe's a nice little glove at short.
He's played really well in this series.
Certainly has.
He's decent bat. He's got speed.
He's a nice player.
Yep. Got a lot of range at short. He's only playing because of the injuries to Trey Turner and Stephen Drew, but he has really been a nice fill-in for the Nats. There's Travis d'Arnaud, who's been up twice and flying to right field both times. Mets 5 runs, 5 hits. The Nationals 1 run, 6 hits. Eric Fetty, rookie right-hander, making just his 3rd big league start and pitching deep into this game. And d'Arnaud drives this one out to right field, but again Bautista will have room. That's 3 nines on d'Arnaud's ledger, and there are 2 out of the inning. Let's check in with the studio. Gary Apple has a game break brought to you by your Tri Honda dealer. And meanwhile, the Royals just can't score. They had been scoreless 25 straight innings coming into the day, 7 more today. That's 32 straight innings the Royals have gone now without scoring a run. And their postseason hopes hanging in the balance. They started the day a game and a half out of that second wild card in the American League.
Minnesota on top of Toronto. They're very much in the hunt. A lot of people are not.
Well, Minnesota's got the spot right now. A half game up on the Angels and Mariners. A game and a half on Kansas City.
But Baltimore's not beaten up, but up 2-0 again on Boston.
Well, at least the Red Sox aren't giving up double figures today. They've strafed the last few days.
I mean, they can get a 4-game sweep, and that's up in Fenway.
Line the other way by Rosario, and that'll go foul. Well, we mentioned the Marlins and how hot they are. They're 2-2 with the Padres in the 8th today. The Marlins have won 12 of 15. They're 2 games over 500, and they've moved within 4.5 of the second wild card, which everybody, had conceded those wild card spots to the Diamondbacks and the Rockies. Rafael Montero up in the bullpen. Terry Collins had said before the game that Montero was available for an inning today. That's grounded toward the hole. It's short. Defoe will make the running throw, but Rosario too speedy and beats it out for an infield hit. And that snaps an 0 for 14 for Ahmed with a 2-out infield single.
No, you're going to be hard pressed to throw out Rosario. Gets out of the box quick.
So he's at first with 2 out. See if he tries to steal a base here. Matt Reynolds at the plate. Pitcher spot due up next. And Reynolds hits one up the middle, and that's a base hit. Rosario pulls in at second. Reynolds has his second hit of the day. That's now 4 for 7 in this series, and the Mets have 2 men on with 2 out. We'll see who comes up. Nobody came out of the on deck circle.
Late call for a pinch hitter. Looks like, do they have to go up and get someone from the clubhouse?
Well, the only left-handed bat they have on the bench is Reyes, and it's Reyes who is going to pinch hit. So Jose, who started yesterday at second base, his first day off the disabled list and went 2 for 5, will be the pinch hitter here. Mike Maddox, the pitching coach, going to the mound for the Nationals. There's nobody up in the Washington bullpen. Even with Fetty already up over 100 pitches, they want to nurse him through this inning.
The old hand on the shoulder from Mike Maddox, the pitching coach. That is his what he likes to do with his pitchers.
Same as Rick Peterson used to do it.
That's right.
Days as the Mets pitching coach, always had the hand on the shoulder. Now the tap on the chest.
Go get him, kid.
And Mike's work is done for the moment. Well, Fetty has now allowed 7 hits. All 5 runs have come on 2 swings of the bat for the Mets today. A 3-run homer for Cabrera in the first, 2-run shot for Flores in the third. Now Reyes pinch hitting with 2 out and 2 on in the 6th. And Jose watches high for ball 1. Reyes was on the DL for 10 days with an oblique injury. Made his return yesterday. Probably will play the nightcap today. And he takes a curveball strike from Fetty, 1-1. Fetty's high pitch count in the minors this year was 108. He's at 103 now. And they're just starting to get some action going in the bullpen. Obviously, the hope for Dusty Baker here is that Fetty gets Reyes out, and then they can remove him after this inning. Sean Kelly, first man up in that Nats bullpen. He's had a star-crossed year. Rosario at second, Reynolds at first, and Reyes watches outside, and Fetty maybe run out of gas here behind 3-1. Fetty's only walked 1, struck out 4 over 5 2/3 innings. Brandon Nimmo on deck. And that's too high, ball 4, and the bases are loaded. Well, Kelly's only been throwing for a few moments. And nobody's killing any time here, so it looks like Fedde will get one more batter. They'll face Nimmo for the 4th time. Brandon had an infield hit to start the game. Since then, he struck out and grounded out. Rosario, Reynolds, and Reyes all reaching after 2 out and nobody on. 2 singles and a walk. And Nimmo takes it high out of the strike zone, and Fedde now consistently up with that fastball.
Good pitch to hit.
And the curveball misses 2-0, and now Wieters will go out for a conversation. So Fedde has now thrown as many pitches in this game as he has in any game, major league or minor league, this season. Dusty Baker pushes his starters a little harder than most managers. We'll see what Fedde has left here to try and get Nimmo out.
Oh, he needs a strike here. And as a hitter right now, you're looking to get a nice pitch to hit.
And Nimmo won't help you. He's generally very patient. Bases loaded, 2 down. And that's low and inside, ball 3.
Make him throw 1-0 curveball and a 2-0 slider. Now he's in big trouble.
He's got no place to put him. Figure Nimmo takes 1 pitch here. And it's a strike, 3-1.
If you're in the field right now, you're ready for something to be struck, the ball to be struck. This is a good pitch to hit. He's going to run the old sinker in there.
And it's on the inside corner, not where he intended it. Full count.
It certainly wasn't.
So now the merry-go-round will be in motion. Rosario at 3rd, Reynolds at 2nd, Reyes at 1st will all be running. Three-2 to Nimmo, and that's strike 3 call. Inning over.
Jeez.
Well, it's been a big strike zone all day, and it is again. 5 strikeouts for Fedde. Nimmo unhappy, but Fletcher's been calling a lot of strikes all day long. Still 5-1 New York in the 6th.
Can't be looking for a walk.
He can. Night getaway to Taiwan for 2, where you'll experience a touch of culture and adventure, plus accommodations at the Regent Taipei in the SNY Takeoff to Taiwan Sweepstakes, presented by the Taiwan Tourism Bureau. Go to sny.tv/Taiwan Tourism and enter today. Well, Rafael Montero, who's been doing a nice job lately as a starter, gets a relief stint today.
It'll be his 15th relief appearance of the season. The last outing in relief was July 8th. His last time out was his last start, which was Thursday against the Diamondbacks.
Allowed 3 runs in that game, but certainly has upped the ante his last several starts. And he misses with his first pitch to Matt Wieters. So Malone went 4 1/3, allowed a run on 6 hits. Robles faced 2 batters, struck them both out, and now Montero getting an inning here in the 6th. It did add a reliever for the doubleheader today. Kevin McGowan, who had been sent down yesterday, was called back. But with 2 games today, Terry taking advantage of the fact that Montero gets an extra day of rest before his next start. He pitches Wednesday night in Cincinnati. And Wieters pulls one down to Smith at first. Wieters doesn't bother running, and Smith retires him unassisted for the first out. So 1 out and nobody on. Now Michael Taylor. Taylor is grounded out and walked 0 for 1. So Mr. Stanton's at it again.
What did he do? Did he hit in a monster?
Hit number 50.
Wow, congratulations. That is incredible.
50 home runs before the end of August. That is big. And he's put the Marlins in front of the Padres 5-2 in the 8th. As they look for their 13th win in their last 16 games. And they're becoming more and more serious as a postseason contender every day.
Well, he's carrying that ball club.
And, you know, as he keeps doing this, he is really burnishing his credentials for a potential MVP.
Yes.
There are the wild card standings coming into the day. Miami was not even in the picture 3 weeks ago, but they have really made a run. There's a strike, 2-1, and you know, for all the talk that you have to be a postseason team to have an MVP candidate, which is kind of bunk anyway. If you are a contender, I think that certainly puts you more on people's radar. And right now, the Marlins looking every day more and more like a contender. Michael Taylor is grounded out and walked. Montero behind him, 3-1. There's a strike. At what point in a game, Keith, do hitters recognize what an umpire is calling and start expanding their strike zones?
Well, we were observing up here, and it should be, even though we got a different angle, we're way up high, it should be no different for the players in the dugout if they're paying attention. I think once through the order, yeah, depending how many times. In this case, Andy Fletcher was pretty obvious. He was calling a wide outside corner. I think within 2 innings becomes a pattern. 3 certainly. I mean, the hitters are going to come back moaning and groaning.
Right.
You know, that pitch with, gosh darn it, that ball was, they're sitting in the bench going, you know, that ball's 3 inches outside.
Well,
called it a strike.
Well, you saw Nimmo's reaction.
Right.
And he never complains, but he's been watching the game. He's been participating in the game. So should it be shocking to him that he got called out on strikes?
Well, I think he's been listening to that philosophy of walk, walk, walk. And when you're an RB, that's fine when you're a hitter like Nimmo. He's a table setter. You want to get on base, but he's got to say goodbye to that when there's RBI situations. And the base is loaded. You want to get a base hit. You are no longer leading off an inning. You're in a position to do damage.
Taylor runs. The throw by d'Arnaud goes into center field. Taylor will take off the third. Lagares has a shot at him, but too late. So Taylor running with his team 4 runs down. successful, his 12th stolen base, and he takes third on d'Arnaud's throwing error.
Well, d'Arnaud threw this one into the moon there, way over the head of Rosario.
Taylor at third with one out. Infield will stay back with a 4-run lead. And De Aza cracks one toward the right field corner. That goes up against the wall. Taylor's in to score. De Aza has his second extra base hit of the day. And the Met lead is cut to 5-2.
Well, choking up 2 inches. Santana to come. Montero coming inside, but down. Turns on it right in the corner.
Dan Warthen out to the mound to talk to Montero. Well, the Mets trying a little different game plan today, squeezing an inning out of Montero on his throw day. Not going well right now. A walk, a stolen base, and an RBI double. Cut the Met lead to 5-2. Paul Sewald and Josh Smoker both get up in the Mets bullpen. Rafael Bautista is the batter. And Andrew Stevenson has come out on deck to bat for the pitcher. There's plenty of left-handed firepower on the bench. Stevenson and Daniel Murphy and Adam Lindahl available for Dusty Baker. Bautista had an infield hit and scored a run in the 5th. Fouls away the fastball, 0-1. Stevenson started the first 2 games of this series. And Bautista takes a strike, and it's 0-2.
A lot of hitters taking pitches today. Taking a lot of pitches.
Taking a lot of strikes.
Yes.
Bautista's hit in the 5th inning was just his second major league hit in 10 at bats. Just recalled today. One-two coming. Line the other way. Coming on. Nimmo diving. He did not make the catch. De Aza goes to third. And Bautista has his second hit of the day. Great effort by Nimmo. But couldn't quite get there.
Boy, I'll say he almost pulled a rabbit out of his hat right here. Just couldn't quite get to it. And fortunate enough that ball didn't get by him. He played it very nicely to keep it in front.
So now the Nationals, who were down 5-0 in this game, will get the tying run to the plate with Andrew Stevenson coming up to pinch hit. Stevenson started the first 2 games of this series and went 1 for 7, and as soon as he's announced into the game, Terry Collins pops out of the dugout and they'll bring the left-hander Smoker in to face Stevenson. So the Mets will make a pitching change. Montero out after just a third of an inning. Smoker in. We'll be right back. Josh Smoker worked a perfect inning yesterday, back in there for more today.
Well, there are Josh's numbers, and he did have a nice outing yesterday. Struck out 2 in a clean inning.
Like today's starter Tommy Milone, Smoker began in the Nationals organization as a first-round draft pick. Comes in to face Andrew Stevenson with De Aza at third and Bautista at first. Tying run at the plate in a 5-2 game. And Stevenson takes one wide for ball 1. Stevenson 1 for 7 in the first 2 games of the series. So Montero faced 4 batters, retired only 1 of them. Gave up 2 hits and a walk, 1 run already in against him, and responsible for 2 more. Keep in mind that the Nationals have already stolen a base in this inning when they trailed by 4. And Bautista, who has yet to steal a base in the big leagues, has excellent speed. And that fastball catches the corner. Another dissatisfied hitter.
Yep, he's calling the outside corner.
It's been that way all day.
Yep.
Kendrick on deck. And that's a strike, and it's 1-2. Smoker up in the count on Stevenson, and he just got a piece of the slider to stay alive, and that one caught Travis d'Arnaud. The 4th-man pitcher of the afternoon. The starter Tommy Milone went 4 1/3, allowed 1 run, 6 hits. Robles struck out his 2 hitters, but Montero, pitching on his throw day, did not fare so well. Now Smoker trying to bail him out. Too high, 2-2. Two coming to Stevenson. And slider misses, full count. And Smoker got ahead of him, having trouble putting him away. Well, you got 1st and 3rd and 1 out. You got a fast man at first in Bautista, but you got a lefty-lefty matchup. Do you send him?
I would not send him. You're down 3 runs. No. Definitely not. I'd be shocked.
Not going, and ball 4 loads the bases.
Wonderful.
So Smoker comes in, gets ahead on Stevenson, and walks it, the left-hand hitter. And that's going to be the only man he faces. And Paul Sewald's going to come into the game with the bases loaded to try and get the Mets out of a mess. The game the Nats once trailed 5-0. Now they've got the tying runs on base. And Terry's got to go a little deeper into his bullpen in the first of a day-night doubleheader. Sewald coming in. We'll be right back. Cincinnati, Great American Ballpark. Mets and Reds meeting for the first time this season. They've got 7 games to play with each other, including 3 in the series coming up starting Tuesday night. Paul Sewald will be the 5th Met pitcher of the day. He comes in with the bases loaded and 1 out to face Howie Kendrick, who's already 2 for 3 today. De Aza at third, Bautista at second, Stevenson at first. They can all run. And Kendrick takes inside ball 1. Sewald hasn't pitched since Wednesday when he retired all 5 batters he faced against Arizona.
Well, this is his forte here, is men on base and leaving them stranded. Boy, the Mets need a double play right here from their big guy.
Opponents are 1 for their last 28 against him with men on base. And Kendrick takes a fastball for a strike. 1 for their last 29 with runners in scoring position. It's probably unsustainable, but it is extraordinary for Sewald, who does not have overpowering stuff. That's hoping for a double play ball from Kendrick. And a fastball strike. 1 and 2.
Well, Sewald does one thing, and everybody should take a cue from him. That's down there in the bullpen. He can throw strikes.
One-two coming. Slider just off the plate. 2-2. Rafael Montero started the inning, got a ground out, but then gave up a walk and 2 hits. Smoker came in, walked his only batter, and now Sewald trying to clean up the mess. 2-2 to Kendrick, and he fouls it at the plate. Wilmer Defoe, switch hitter, waits on deck. Two from Sewald. Just off the corner. That's been a strike.
Yes, it has been. Today. All of a sudden, a little Archie Bell here on Andy Fletcher. You've been calling that a strike all day.
I mean, it was off the plate, but it has been an off the plate strike all day, but not that time. Now it's 3-2 to Kendrick with the bases loaded. And he lifts one to center. Tagging at third is De Aza. Lagares will throw it to third base as De Aza comes home with the 2nd run of the inning. It's now 5-3 New York on the sacrifice fly by Kendrick.
One more big out to get out of this mess.
So the tying runs remain aboard. And now Wilmer Defoe, who's 1 for 2 in a sacrifice. He drove in the first Washington run with a base hit to left against Tommy Malone. That was the last man Malone faced in the 5th inning. Bautista is the runner at second. Stevenson at first with 2 down. I like the Nat fans have learned from Jets fans.
Yes, they spell out the N-A-T-S.
But they add the woo at the end.
Then they go woo.
Jets fans don't do the woo.
I like the woo. Sounds like Elmer Fudd.
Some people are pro woo, some people are anti woo. You fouled away. 0-2.
How many walks in this inning? 2 critical walks.
Sewald quickly ahead on Defoe. 0-2. Fouls it away. Defoe with that severe chokeup.
Nothing wrong with a chokeup.
Again, the 0-2. And it's popped up. Might stay in play. Flores puts it away. Side retired.
Well done.
Sewall gets 2 outs. The Nationals scored 2 runs. 5-3 Mets as we go to the 7th.
Wow.
Gary, now Sean Kelly in to pitch the 7th inning for the Nats. It's been an awful year for Kelly, who's been on the disabled list a couple of times. He was closing games at one point for the Nats. That didn't work out. Oligaris fouls one off the right side out of play. Oligaris has been on base twice, hit by a pitch in the first, and an infield hit and stole a base in the 5th. Mets built a 5-0 lead, but the Nats with a run in the 5th and 2 in the 6th to get closer. How about this on Stanton? He now has 17 home runs in August.
Wow.
The record for August is 18, set by Rudy York in 1937.
Wow. Rudy York with Boston back then?
Detroit, I think.
Detroit, right.
Oligaris just got a piece of that. So he's doing things that haven't been done in a long time. Here's your Mets box score presented by Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. 3-run homer Cabrera in the 1st. 2-run homer Flores in the 3rd. And that's been all the scoring for the Mets today. All that against the starter Eric Fetty. Fetty went 6, allowed 5 runs, 7 hits, walked 2, struck out 5, hit a batter, allowed 2 home runs through 112 pitches, most he's thrown in the game, major league or minor league this year. And now Kelly in for the 7th. Oligaris hammers one foul. Cabrera on deck, then Flores for the Mets in the 7th. Sean Kelly now 33 years old and having his roughest year. Back issues, trapezius issues. In the air to center field, and plenty of room for Taylor. And Oligaris retired 1 out. You don't want to be the man on the flying trapezius.
Speaking of trapezius, there was we walked to the car last night, if you remember, in the parking lot. There was a trapeze school over there, a big netting with guys around on the trapeze. It was fun to watch them. It's very interesting. I've never seen that before practice anyway.
Would you ever want to?
No. Not even if I was in.
Not even with a net?
I'd have to be. No, not even with a net. No desire. How about you?
Looks like fun.
It would be fun. Would you trust me if I was the one who had to grab you as you flung yourself into the air?
You've got great hands. I mean, there are a few people whose hands I would trust more than yours. I mean, they don't give out the gold for nothing. Cabrera badly fooled on the slider, and it's 0-2. Cabrera's got great career numbers against Kelly, 4 for 8 with 2 home runs. But Kelly's gotten ahead of him here with a couple of sliders after Asdrubal hit a 3-run homer in the first inning today. Another slider, this one in the dirt, 1-2. Flores on deck. 1-2 coming. Another slider, and he did not go around. Third base umpire Bill Welke gives him a pass, 2-2.
Nope, he held up.
Is there an art to holding up?
Yes, there is. You got to be muy fuerte here. Since we're going with.
Is that what it is? Is it strength in hands?
I think it's strength in hands. Yes, absolutely. Hands and forearms and wrists. And all hitters, I mean, that's what you use. It's. I mean, if you're not strong on your hands, wrists, and forearms, you're going to be doing something else for a living.
Slapped on the ground. Defoe in front of it. And Cabrera retired, 2 out. Look at today's starters, brought to you by People's United Bank. Tommy Milone, his best start by far as a man, but came out shy of qualifying for a win. Eric Fedde has to push a little further. He won 112 pitches, and he's on the hook. Here's Flores. Wilmer hit a 2-run homer in the third that right now is the difference in this game. 17th home run of the year, new career high for Wilmer. And he attacks Kelly's first pitch and flies it out to right. Easy for Bautista. And that retires the side. So Kelly comes in, throws a 1-2-3 top of the 7th. Stretch time. 5-3 New York.
Where they're focusing on other things besides just the execution side, just playing the game. So I think that's the best way to go about it right now. But yeah, we've got, and I've been really impressed with the way, I mean, they've approached things. They certainly come, they do their preparation as good as anybody, I mean, they spend a lot of time with in the video room looking and talking to the coaches, so I've been happy with that.
Today's quote of the game presented by Investors Bank, banking in your best interest. And Terry even said, you know, development for these guys comes ahead of wins and losses. But then for the manager, once the game starts, he's playing to win.
Yes, of course. And Terry is such a competitor. We know that. He's a little spitfire. And he wants to win. And his team is out of it and going nowhere. But got young players here that we want to look at and play. But he manages to win.
Well, he's already used 5 pitchers in the opening game of this doubleheader. Paul Sewald, who came in to get the last 2 outs in the 6th, will stay on for the bottom of the 7th to face 3, 4, and 5 in the Washington batting order. Rendon, Zimmerman, and Wieters. As the Mets try and hang on to this lead, they led at 1.5-0, but the Nats have scratched back for a run in the 5th and 2 in the 6th to get closer. Rendon is 0 for 3 today, struck out twice, both times looking, once against Malone and once against Robles, and in between hit a bullet back at Malone that Tommy somehow snared before it could drill him in the chest or the shoulder. The Marlins game is over. They beat San Diego 6-2, so they've now won 13 of their last 16. First pitch slider misses to Rendon. Fastball for a strike, 1-1. The Rockies are playing the Braves today, and John Gray has a 3-0 lead into the bottom of the 7th in Atlanta. They hold that second wild card spot, Colorado. And after rallying to beat the Braves last night, Charlie Blackmon home run in the 9th inning. Neither the Diamondbacks nor the Rockies have played their best baseball over the last 6 weeks, and that's enabled the pack to creep up a little bit, but they're both hanging on right now. In fact, the Diamondbacks have beaten the Giants 2 days in a row and win 3 in a row.
How many games are the Giants back?
40.
Whew. Who would have thought that? Well, who would have thought the Dodgers would already have 90 wins?
Yeah. Well, the Brewers have a chance to win a series from the Dodgers. Milwaukee shut out the Dodgers last night behind Zach Davies.
Zach Davies has had a fine year.
15 wins now. 2-2 to Rendon. Fastball drilled out to center, but Lagares is right there. 1 out.
You know, Zach Davies didn't really impress me. He's a little slight guy, very slender, big curveball, likes to nibble. But boy, he's been a different pitcher the second half.
Here's Zimmerman, who's gone 0 for 3 in his return to the lineup. Line to left, grounded to short, took a call, 3rd strike. So Sewald has faced 3 and retired 3. And slider misses down for ball 1. And 2-0. We came on the air today talking about Sewald and Bradford, 2 guys who don't have overpowering stuff, but have had a lot to do with this recent run of success for the Mets bullpen. Bradford worked 2 perfect innings yesterday. Sewald continues to excel, especially coming in and getting people out with men on base.
And that run that he gave up, that inherited run, really, I don't feel that should be an inherited run. You come in with the bases loaded, less than 2 outs. That's a tough spot.
He drops down and gets a swinging strike from Zimmerman. Well, what's interesting is that the Mets have made a conscious effort when they've made the trades of veteran players over the last month to get back hard throwing relievers. And we might see a couple of those guys in September.
Well, that's all they scooped up was big arms.
Right. As Zimmerman pokes one into right field, and that lands for a base hit. So Zimmerman has his first hit of the day, a one-out single. And that'll get the tying run to the plate with Wieters coming up.
And he hit a pretty good pitch right there.
But you know, even as the Mets try to remake their bullpen, and they have some key pieces for next year. They'll have Ramos, they'll have Familia. Presumably they pick up Levin's option. They'll have him. But how do you build the rest of your bullpen? Do you do it with those young power arms if they're ready, or do you sprinkle in a Sewald, a Bradford, who give you a little different look?
Well, that's what spring's going to be all about. There's going to be a lot of competition in spring, and those young arms that they traded for, they're going to be in camp, giving a good look-see. And Bradford and Sewald, of course. To me, Sewald has pitched his way to be a front runner to make he should make the ball club next year. He's been outstanding. You know, Bradford's another story. Bradford's only got a little over 20 innings, and he's got another month to show what he can do.
Yeah, and I think these 4 or 5 weeks that remain in the season give these guys a chance to get a little leg up going into next year.
But Sewald, to me, he's the way he's pitched. He's on the roster next year.
He's behind on Wieters 2-0. And there's a strike. Wieters 1 for 3 today at a base hit back in the 4th. Zimmerman at first and 1 out. And Wieters pulls one through the hole for a base hit. Zimmerman takes the turn. He's going to try for third, and he'll make it uncontested. And the Nats have the tying runs on base with 1 out. Second hit of the day for Wieters.
Fell behind, had to come with the sinker. And his ball's not really sinking when he gets down too low there. And he almost threw that below 3/4. He loses his sink. Ball stays flat.
I understand why he drops down against right-hand batters. Why would he do that against
not against lefties?
Yeah.
It's too easy to track.
So here's Michael Taylor with first and third and 1 out in a 5-3 game. Tying runs on base. Taylor's walked twice today. Stolen a base, scored a run. Jerry Blevins getting up with the left-hand hitter De Aza on deck. And Taylor takes a rip at a fastball, 0-1. That's the infield at double play depth. Taylor would be a tough man to double out. A lot of speed in this Washington lineup, particularly with some of the irregulars playing, the Defoes and the Batistas and the Taylors. Royals got shut out again today. 3 straight days they've been shut out. 1-1. That's drilled down the left field line. That'll go into the corner. Zimmerman is in. Wieters will stop at third. An RBI double from Michael Taylor. This is now a 1-run ball game. 5-4 New York.
Slide ball, I believe. Yes, sir, and a hanger. Lucky he didn't lift it. And that is ripped into the corner. Wieters in the backside doesn't have great speed, but the Nationals are a base hit away from taking the lead.
Ray Collins out to the mound. You got the left-hand hitter De Aza coming up. And so Blevins is going to come in the game and try and keep this game where it is. We'll be right back.
field.
Paul Sewald coming out and not happy.
See how the Terry plays the infield. He's going to be halfway. Interesting.
A run is in the bottom of the 7th. Jerry Blevins in to pitch to Alejandro De Aza with 2nd and 3rd and 1 out. Mets clinging to a 5-4 lead. And De Aza takes the first pitch curveball for ball 1. 3 straight hits against Sewald. Zimmerman singled. Wieters singled. Taylor doubled. Wieters now the tying run at 3rd. Taylor the potential go-ahead run at 2nd. Game the Mets once led 5-0. And now hanging on the precipice. And De Aza lifts one to left. Wieters is not fast. Reynolds gets under it. Wieters heads home. The throw goes to 3rd, and the game is tied. So De Aza drives in his 2nd run of the day, and the Nats have come all the way back from a 5-run deficit to get the game even at 5.
Well, perfect way to get a sac fly. You're a left-hand hitter and you're not playing that much against lefties. You just inside out that ball if you get a fastball. Get it up in the air. Get your team back in the hunt, which he did. Nicely done by De Aza.
So the former Met doing some damage against his old team. A triple, an RBI double, and now a sacrifice fly to help the Nats get back even. Now Taylor at 2nd and 2 out. And here's Bautista, who's gone 2 for 3 in his return from the minor leagues. So the Met bullpen, which had been so good recently, last night Familia fumbled it in his return from the disabled list. And other than Robles, who came in and got a couple of strikeouts in the 5th, nobody has distinguished themselves today. Montero, Smoker, Sewald, now Blevins. Curveball in for a strike to Bautista, 0-2. Danny Murphy's out on deck. He'll pinch hit if Bautista keeps the inning going. Curveball misses 2-1. Four-year-old Rafael Bautista starting just his 2nd game in the big leagues, trying to get his team a lead. Taylor dancing off 2nd, and Blevins steps off. Taylor stolen the base today. He's got 12 for the year, but not likely to try and steal 3rd in this spot, you wouldn't think, with 2 out. Bautista takes a swing at a curveball and comes nowhere close. 2-2. Blevins, the 6th Met pitcher of the afternoon. It's only the 7th inning, and the Mets have another game to play tonight. Two. And Bautista pops it up. Trailing out Cabrera. In comes Lagares, and he makes the running catch. Cabrera was having trouble with it, and Lagares made sure. The Nats scored 2 to get even. Could have been a lot worse if this ball had fallen in. No sunglasses for Cabrera. Lagares had him. plays second base and bat ninth. Howie Kendrick moves from second base to left field. Alejandro De Aza moves from left field to right field. And Joe Blanton is on to pitch the 8th inning.
There's Joe's numbers right there. In 41 games, he's had a tough year, a tough start, but those are ugly numbers right there.
Dom Smith will lead off for the Mets in the 8th inning. Mets at a 5-0 lead in this game. That's gone now. And they'll try and get their offense restarted in the 8th against Blanton. Smith 0 for 3 today, and he takes a strike. So Eric Fetty is off the hook. He gave up 5 runs in 6 innings in his 3rd big league start. Sean Kelly worked a 1-2-3 7th, and now Blanton in the 8th. And quickly ahead on Smith 0-2. Travis d'Arnaud on deck, and then Ahmed Rosario for the Mets in the 8th. And Smith taps one softly. Murphy just entered the ball game. Throws him out, 1 away. Murphy not starting for the 2nd time in 3 games in this series. Probably will start the night game today. Dusty Baker's got a lot of imperatives right now. His biggest imperative is keeping his healthy players healthy and getting his not healthy players back healthy, with a 12.5 game lead to work with going into the day.
And he needs to negotiate all this, and in a perfect world have everybody on all cylinders going into postseason.
I mean, the biggest piece is Bryce Harper, and with Harper out with a bone bruise in his knee and no certainty at all about when he might be able to come back, it certainly puts a crimp in the planning. And they've had to go very deep into their outfield depth, but they should get Trey Turner and Jason Worth back pretty soon. d'Arnaud lines one to center field. Taylor coming on, and he makes the catch. 2 out. Let's jump on that ball by Michael Taylor coming in. Be at Citi Field Friday, September 8th for Free Shirt Friday, when the Mets take on the Reds at 7:10 p.m. All fans in attendance will receive a Let's Go Mets t-shirt courtesy of Gulf Oil. For tickets, visit Mets.com/FreeShirtFridays. So what of those Reds whom the Mets will face this week? Got a lot of firepower in that lineup. 5 players with at least 22 home runs for the Reds this year.
And that ballpark is conducive for that, for the long ball, but they've also got a pitching staff that's
awful.
Got a lot of dynamite.
Awful. I mean, they have a ton of pitching talent on the disabled list. I mean, just from their starting rotation: Bronson Arroyo, Anthony DeSclafani, Scott Feldman, Brandon Finnegan, all out. And really, if you look at their pitching staff, they've got one guy having a good year, and that's the relief pitcher Raisel Iglesias. He's had a wonderful year. As Rosario hits one out to center field, hit well. Back goes Taylor to the track near the wall. It's out of here. Ahmed Rosario hits it over the center field fence to give the Mets back the lead. 4th home run for Rosario, and it's 6-5 New York in the 8th. What a stunner. On an 0-2 pitch from Blanton, Rosario clears the center field wall.
Well, he's got some pop. Oh, high fastball that he jumps on. Really out of the strike zone. That's what I always say, Gary. That high pitch is a mistake. One to jump on.
Well, we just don't see too many home runs hit on those high pitches anymore because of the way hitters have tailored their swings. But that one up in the zone, and Rosario clubbed it. He had just snapped an 0 for 14 stretch with an infield hit his previous at bat. And now a long home run that gives the Mets back the lead, 6-5. Well,
stunning.
It was stunning.
And Rosario, let me tell you, hit kid hangs in there. Had that offer going on and broke it and keeps plugging. And boy, he's got some pop.
Reynolds grounds one to short. Defoe in front of it. Low throw. Zimmerman pulls it out. That retires the side, but the Mets back in front on the Ahmed Rosario home run. 4 home runs in his first 93 big league at bats. Upstairs and out. 6-5 Mets go to the bottom of the 8th. Mets lead 6-5 as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Daniel Murphy up for the first time, facing Jerry Blevins, whom he's always struggled against. And Blevins' first pitch, a curveball that hits Murph, and he's aboard. So just like that, the Nats have the tying run on base. Not a lot of effort on Murph's part to get out of the way. Might have even leaned his knee into it.
You can make a case for that being, come on back here, young man.
It's been called before, but not by Andy Fletcher, not in this case. And Terry Collins is going to bring in another relief pitcher with the right-hand hitter Kendrick coming up. Make a double switch. Travis Tyrone is going to left field, and the Mets will go to the bullpen here in the 8th, up 6-5. Right field to left field. Travis Tyrone comes into play right. He'll bat ninth, and A.J. Ramos is in the game with nobody out in the eighth. Could Terry be asking him for a 6-out save?
Well, only the shadow knows. We'll find out.
I mean, he still has Familia out there, but Familia threw a lot of pitches yesterday in his first game back. Don't know if he's available today or not. Howie Kendrick, the batter, with the tying run at first. Murphy, after he was hit by Blevin's pitch, and the sidearm throw to first, and Murph's back.
I just don't like that staying in there and getting hit like that.
It certainly was the kind of move that we have seen hitters get called for before.
That would be something I would remember for a future date.
Bunted by Kendrick, a perfect bunt, and Flores can put it in his pocket. You can't bunt it any better than that. And now the Nats have the first two men on in the eighth.
Wilmer playing deep, not respecting any idea that he might bunt. Got a, and why not? You're going to give it to me? I'll take it. Leadoff hitter.
So Kendrick has his third hit of the day, and now the Mets can expect the sacrifice with Wilmer Defoe up. He's already sacrificed once today. He's also driven on a run with a base hit. And Flores comes into the mound to talk to Ramos about bunt defense,
and that'll get them to the teeth of their order, which would be Rendon, Zen, and Zimmerman, the big guns.
So after the Mets regained the lead in the top of the inning, a hit batsman and a bunt single have put the Nationals back in business. Mets pinch the corners in, looking for the bunt. And Defoe takes a strike. Ramos got the save in the opening game of the series on Friday night. It was not an easy one. Gave up a home run and left the bases loaded to protect a 4-2 game. Defoe gives himself up and bunts it foul, and now it's 0-2.
I don't think you bunt with a hitter with 2 strikes. I've seen it done.
Well, the Mets are playing for the bunt, but I'm with you. I mean, Defoe swung a good bat in this series, and he's hard to double up. And Defoe swings and lines it to left. In comes Nimmo to make the catch, and the runners get back.
Oh boy. Playing shallow.
So that's the first out of the inning.
So that defensive switch by Terry Collins works out there. Reynolds was out there prior. Good base running by Murph.
So 1 away now. Anthony Rendon. Rendon is 0 for 4 today. Bats here with the tying and go-ahead runs on base. 3 for 10 in his career against Ramos. He walked against him on Friday night. And takes a slider for a strike. And Ramos' slider looking a little sharper than it was in that game on Friday. Ryan Zimmerman on deck. And Rendon takes inside a fastball, 1-1. Now the Mets have used 7 pitchers in this game. They've got their closer for the moment on the mound in the 8th inning, and they've got another game to play tonight. Wringing the rag dry, I believe is the term. 1-1. Good slider has Rendon fishing. 1-2.
Really giving Rendon the left field line. Nimmo way out in the left center field gap. Boy, if he hits anything down that line, he can run forever.
Now Ramos up in the count, 1-2 on Rendon. And the slider misses. 2-2. Ramos had all sorts of trouble commanding that slider on Friday night, but he stuck with it and wound up using that pitch to finish off the game with the bases loaded, striking out Andrew Stevenson. Murphy at second, Kendrick at first. 2-2 coming to Rendon, and he carves it foul. Alejandro Ramos Jr. Throws the 2-2 to Rendon. Fly ball center field. Lagares right there waiting. 2 out.
Well, that would have tied the ball game if the bunt was put down properly.
I like Lagares' chances thrown home against Murphy.
I like Lagares' chances thrown home against anybody.
So 2 out and 2 on. It's left to Zimmerman. As the Mets try to protect a 1-run lead in the 8th. Zimmerman had an opposite field single and scored a run in the 7th. As the Nationals tied the game. Mets were up 5-0. Nats got a run in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th to get even. Ahmed Rosario's home run in the top of this inning put the Mets back in front, and now Ramos trying to hang on to that lead in the bottom of the 8th. And Zimmerman takes high ball 1. Zimmerman 4 for 15 with a home run against A.J. Ramos.
6 punch outs. Well, Ramos, when he's got his stuff working, he's got a wicked breaking ball. He's a strikeout guy.
Mets are playing their outfield tilted very much to the opposite field against Zimmerman. We've seen in RBI situations how often he'll go to right center field. Now Ramos behind him 2-0. Matt Wieters is the on deck batter. Throws a 2-0 slider for a strike. Couple of lefties up in the bullpen. Sammy Solis and Sean Doolittle. Doolittle the closer for the Nats. Will come in if they tie it or take the lead. 2-2. 2-1. It misses low, and it's 3-1. So Ramos buying himself a little trouble here, falling behind on Zimmerman. You got the switch hitter Wieters on deck. Murphy the tying run at second. Kendrick at first with 2 out.
Darno called to the mound by Ramos. I don't think he wants him to put down any fingers. Probably got a series of 2 pitches set up. But the problem is, if you do that, your middle infielders don't know what's coming down the pike. No, they're flashing some signs.
3-1 from Ramos to Zimmerman. And he goes to the slider and misses. Ball 4, and the bases are loaded. Well, a hit batsman, a bunt single, and a walk. And the Nationals now have the tying and go-ahead runs in scoring position. And Matt Wieters coming up.
I thought that was a strike here. I thought that got around the inside corner. So did Terry. I thought this nipped the inside corner.
Might he have called it low?
I thought it was not low either.
So here's Wieters, who's 2 for 4 today. And a base hit his last time up in the 7th against Sewald, and now facing Ramos. Wieters has a hit in his only career at bat against Ramos. And it's up and away for ball 1. Ramos walked Wieters in that shaky save chance on Friday night. And now 2-0. That little corner he's painting himself into is getting smaller and smaller.
Well, he's got to pour in a strike here, Gare.
He threw a 2-0 slider to Zimmerman when he fell behind. And he comes with a fastball and gets it over. 2-1.
I don't know why you would take that pitch. You want to hit a three, want to hit a grand slam, or you want to get a base hit to left field to put your team ahead.
Nationals have hit 6 grand slams this year. Murphy at third, Kendrick at second, Zimmerman at first with 2 out. And Wieters hits a ground ball. Rosario to his right. The running throw to first. High, but Smith pulls it down, and the inning is over. Nicely done by the rookies, Rosario and Smith, for the 6-3 putout that keeps the Nats off the board in the 8th. Dom goes up to get it, and Ramos works out of trouble.
Terrific job by Ramos.
Ninth inning, Mets up 6-5. Joe Blanton in for his 2nd inning. Travis Tyrone his first time up today, and he takes ball 1. Tyrone made his major league debut yesterday, went 0 for 4. Mets took the lead against Blanton in the 8th on Rosario's home run and then squirmed out of trouble in the bottom of the 8th. 1-1 to Tyrone with Nimmo and Lagares to follow for the Mets in the top of the 9th. A.J. Ramos threw 19 pitches in that 8th inning, and it looks like he'll be asked to work the 9th as well. And the Mets would love to get him a larger lead before he goes back out there.
Ooh, little Led Zeppelin.
Not showing Tyrone a whole lot of love. That's the first out.
Very good, Gary.
Dusty Baker's on his way out to the mound with the left-hand hitter coming up. He's going to make a pitching change. So Blanton is out after an inning of the 3rd. Sammy Solis coming in. We'll be right back. All right, Gary. Now Sammy Solis in to pitch to Brandon Nimmo.
19 games, not a sparkling ERA. It's a guy that they thought was going to be one of the stalwarts of their bullpen, and boy, he's really had a tough one.
Just got back from the minor leagues a few weeks ago. He's quickly ahead on Nimmo 0-2. Brandon's 1 for 4 today. An infield hit. He scored a run in the 1st. Solis, the 4th Nationals pitcher. The Mets have used 7 in this game. And Nimmo takes a slider off the plate, 1-2. Joe Blanton worked an inning in the 3rd, allowed the home run to Rosario to put the Mets back in front, so he's pitcher of record on the short side. Jerry Blevins pitcher of record on the long side, and Nimmo went around on the half swing, or did he? He did not. 2-2. Nine-year-old Sammy Solis, his 3rd year with the Nationals. He was a much more effective pitcher last year. And he runs a full count to Nimmo after getting ahead 0-2. Juan Lagares on deck. They've got a right-hander up in the bullpen. That's Matt Albers. And Nimmo cracks one out to center. Taylor is right there. And that's the 2nd out. Around the majors presented by Audi. Well, it's a day ending in a Y, so Stanton and Hoskins have to have homered. Number 50 for Stanton, number 11 for Hoskins in his first 18 games as he continues to set rookie records. Meanwhile, Kansas City got shut out for the third straight day. Carlos Carrasco doing the honors today as the Indians win 12-0. Hoskins is now homered in 5 straight games. Big cut by Lagares, 0-1.
It's actually nice to see. Remember how he struggled against the Mets.
I mean, it's amazing. Didn't have a hit his first 3 games, and now in the next 15 games he's hit 11 home runs. That's crazy.
It's nuts.
And you know what else he did today? He started a triple play, a shoestring catch, and they turned a triple play. Lagares takes one the other way, and he's got a 2-out hit. Second hit of the day for Lagares, his 5th hit in the series. And the Mets have a 2-out base runner with Cabrera coming up. Like Maddox going out to the mound to talk to Solis before he faces Cabrera, who has been tearing it up as a right-hand batter.
What can you tell him? What can you tell him? It's just a runner on first base. It's a little overthinking here. You got Flores behind. I mean, you're wasting time. Are you biding time here just to get the right-hander up in the bullpen down there? Because he would certainly come in to face Flores. It's the only reasoning I can see.
Alvarez continues to work in the pen, and Solis stays in to face Cabrera. Cabrera got the Mets started today, a 3-run homer in the first inning, snapping a 136 at-bat home run drought, his 10th of the year. Lagares already has a stolen base today, 3 in this series. And that might have been as much as anything what that conversation was about. Trying to slow down Lagares. And the slider in the dirt, and Wieters came up looking to throw. Coming up tonight at 10:30, Geico Sports Night. We'll have highlights from both games of today's doubleheader. Yes, there is another game tonight, 8 o'clock. Preseason action. Oh, the U.S. Open opens for real tomorrow. All that Geico Sports Night tonight at 10:30. Snap throw and Lagares back. Now Solis behind on Cabrera, 2-0. Hey, this game is moving. They're not going to have a very long break between games.
You think it's moving?
Very, very slowly.
I'd like to know how many pitches have been thrown today, both sides.
And now 3-0. So Solis, after the visit from Maddox, not coming close with the first 3 pitches to Cabrera. Wilmer Flores on deck, and you have to figure if Wilmer comes up, we'll see another pitching change.
Yes, we will.
Dusty looking a little perturbed.
Well,
as perturbed as you can be with a 12.5 game lead. And that's ball 4, so not coming close with any of those 4 pitches. Solis walks Cabrera, who's on base for the 3rd time today.
And here comes Dusty. And you go out and talk to your pitcher to stall for time, and you're going to feed nothing but negative to him about Cabrera's red hot, instead of why not bring the challenge out. Go after this guy.
So Matt Albers will come into the game to face Wilmer Flores. Mets up 6-5 in the 9th. We'll be right back. NY is brought to you by Budweiser, America's other national pastime. This Bud's for you. By Bob's Discount Furniture. Shop in store or online at mybobs.com. By Cash for Life from the New York Lottery. You could win $1,000 a day for life. And by Fidelis Care, quality health coverage. It's our mission. Matt Albers will be the 5th Washington pitcher of the day, the 3rd in this inning.
Yes. Relievers.
Albers came in to get one batter out in last night's game. He'll come in to face Wilmer Flores, who has a 2-run homer to his credit today, 1 for 4. Lagares at second, Cabrera at first with 2 out. Mets up 6-5 in the top of the 9th. And Wilmer grounds one foul. 0-1. Washington starter Eric Fetty in his 3rd big league start gave up 5 runs in 6 innings. That's got him off the hook. Sean Kelly worked a perfect 7th. Joe Blanton gave up the go-ahead home run to Rosario in an inning and a 1/3 of work. Solis goes a 1/3 of an inning, gives up a single and a walk, and now Albers trying to clean up in the 9th. And Flores lifts one to right. De Aza coming toward the line, and that retires the side. We go to the last of the 9th. A.J. Ramos will be trying for a 6-out save. Mets up 6-5. The 9th in Washington. Mets trying to hang on to a 6-5 lead, and A.J. Ramos, who threw 19 pitches to get 3 outs in the 8th, stays on to get 3 more outs in the 9th. Michael Taylor's been on base 3 times today, 2 walks and an RBI double. He leads off the bottom of the 9th, and he takes a strike on the inside. 0-1. Alejandro De Aza on deck, and then the pitcher's spot. The Nats still have Adam Lind, strong left-hand batter, left in the dugout. He's had a great year as a pinch hitter. And Taylor takes a cut at a slider, and it's 0-2. And the Mets have used 7 pitchers to try and get a win nailed down in the first game of this day-night doubleheader. And they'll have Seth Lugo will be on a pitch count of about 70 or 75 in the night count. So they will be running on bullpen fumes. But presumably it will be worth it if Ramos can get these final 3 outs. Nothing has come easily in this series for AJ. He had a shaky save on Friday night, and now looking for an elongated save today. 0-2 to Taylor, and he bounces the slider. 1-2. Diaz waiting on deck. He's already had a big day against his former team. One-two coming. Half swing. Did he go? He did not. Ramon de Jesus, the first base umpire, says no swing. 2-2.
Agreed.
Flores right along the line at third against Taylor. 2-2. Half swing. This time he went. Strike three.
Well, there's that wicked slider from Ramos.
So AJ gets his first strikeout. Came in needing 6 outs. He's gotten 4. And now he'll face Alejandro De Aza, who has doubled and tripled and hit a sacrifice fly. 2 for 3, 2 runs batted in. Came into the day with just 1 hit for the season. Adam Lind on deck to pinch hit, and De Aza goes after a first pitch slider. 0-1. There's Lind, who is putting up huge pinch hitting numbers this year. And De Aza trying to butt his way on. It's a foul ball. And now it's 0-2. Almost not fond of that baseball. Asks for another. Oh, 0-2 to De Aza, and he just got a piece of that. Or did he? They say strike 3. It sounded like a foul ball, and De Aza is arguing with Andy Fletcher that he did get a piece of it. Dusty Baker's going to come out and take up the argument. From here, it sounded like he fouled.
Sure did. But you can't question this, can you? You cannot check on this.
You can't challenge it, but
right.
You can ask the base umpires for their opinion. Listen to it. That definitely sounded like a foul ball.
It's going to be to no avail. Wow.
I mean, Fletcher could have at least asked the third base umpire, Bill Welke, who was the crew chief, who might have had a better view of it, but he did not ask for help. So that's a strikeout, and it's the second out of the inning.
Big break for the Mets.
And now the Nationals are down to their final out. Can you see it? Did it change direction?
Maybe not.
Boy, it sure sounded like it. Or maybe it was the ball hitting the plate.
Yep.
Maybe that's what we heard. In any event, the Nationals are down to their final out. Adam Lind, who's got 13 pinch hits and 3 pinch hit home runs this year, is the final hope for the Nats. And Lind hits one up the middle, and that's going to go through for a base hit. And the Nats have the tying run aboard. His 14th pinch hit of the year, and that'll bring to the plate Daniel Murphy.
What theater.
It always has to go this way when the Mets play the Nats these last 2 years. We'll get a pinch runner for the Nationals. That's Edwin Jackson. Pitcher uses a pinch runner for the 2nd straight day. So it comes down to Murphy against the Mets. Murph was hit by a pitch in his only plate appearance after coming on in the double switch. Looking for his first hit in this series. Jackson the tying run at first, 2 out. And Murphy takes the backdoor slider off the plate for ball 1. Murphy and Ramos battling on pretty even terms. 5 for 17 with a home run. Murphy has 20 home runs for the year.
And he hits one up the middle. That's a base hit. Jackson around second. He'll go to third. It goes under the glove of Tyrone. Picked up by Lagares. Jackson trying to score. The relay by Cabrera to the plate. Jackson is out, and the ball game is over. Jackson thrown out at the plate to end the ball game. Tyrone mishandled it in right, so they sent Jackson home. Lagares picked it up, got it to Cabrera, threw a strike to d'Arnaud, out at the plate, and the Mets hang on to win 6-5.
Oh my!
Wow!
Oh my word! Ripped by Murph, and Tyrone misses it, but there's a lot of fundies here, folks. A good backup by Lagares, a beautiful relay throw, 2 beautiful relay throws, and there's the end of the ball game.
Maybe not, because Dusty Baker is going to argue that d'Arnaud was illegally blocking the plate, and we are going to have a review, I believe. Let's see. Yep, the umpires are going to review it. They're talking to Terry Collins now to say that they will. It does not appear from that shot as though d'Arnaud illegally blocked the plate before he had the ball.
No, he caught it in front of the plate. This is not going to happen.
There's no way that he blocked the plate illegally. He had the ball in front of the plate, and then he came back to make the tag. And Terry Collins is irate. He's taking his team off the field and saying, we've won the ball game.
Yep.
But the umpires are getting on headset, and they're going to talk to Chelsea to make sure. I can't imagine there's any chance that they will overturn this based on what we just saw.
Look at that. He's in front, inside the line. Not even 1 foot on the plate. Now he's got the ball. He can certainly do that. There is nothing wrong with that.
An 8-4-2 put out to end the game. An amazing finish, and the umpires are about to get off headset, and they confirm the out, and the ball game is officially over. Wow. What a finish in the opener of this day-night doubleheader. As A.J. Ramos with a 6-out save has dribbled Cabrera with the perfect relay to the plate, and they gun down the pinch runner Edwin Jackson, trying to score the tying run for the final out of the game.
What a finish.
That was a finish. And the Mets have another game to play tonight.
Well, there you go. Your Lagares in center field backing up, making the good relay throw and the strong relay throw home. And there's your ball game.
Game summary presented by Buick. Ahmed Rosario the go-ahead home run in the 8th. Ramos the 6-out save. Lagares and Cabrera with 2 perfect throws. d'Arnaud with the game-saving tag, and the Mets win it 6-5. For every Mets win, the Mets organization is proud to contribute $2,500 to Northwell Health and the Cass Institute for Women's Health. For more information, visit northwell.edu/cats. The win brings the total contribution so far this season to $142,500. Every Mets win this year means another opportunity to win amazing prizes from Delta Airlines. Go to sny.tv/Delta Dugout to sign up now. Wow. What a finish.
To say the least.
Mets win it 6-5. They've taken 2 of 3 in this series. Final game later tonight on ESPN. We're back with you on Tuesday night from Cincinnati as the Mets open a 3-game series against the Reds. Our coverage begins Tuesday night at 6 o'clock right here on SNY. Now for Keith Hernandez, Steve Gelbs, and our entire SNY crew, I'm Gary Cohen in Washington.